Being smart doesn't make you rich. That's what it says. In fact, it might be the reason you're broke. All these books and for what? I'm still broke.
He did everything right. Top grades, prestigious degree, analytical mind. And yet, his bank account whispers a different story. Why do some of the smartest people struggle with money? Intelligence wins applause. Degrees earn validation. But wealth rewards behavior, and no one teaches that in school. The smart mind sees every risk, every flaw, every possible failure, and so it waits while others move. He reads one more book, watches one more video, builds one more spreadsheet. He calls it preparation, but preparation becomes paralysis. Smart people are taught to avoid mistakes, to choose stability, to optimize for certainty, but wealth often hides behind uncertainty. High IQ doesn't cancel emotion, it rationalizes it. The market drops, he waits for clarity. An opportunity rises, he needs more data. Fear wears a lab coat and calls itself logic. It's not stupidity that keeps him broke. It's hesitation, perfectionism, risk avoidance disguised as intelligence. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The traits that made him academically exceptional might be the same ones keeping him financially average. From a young age, he was the smart one, the responsible one, the one who doesn't make mistakes. And slowly, intelligence stopped being a skill. It became an identity. Wealth requires experimentation. Experimentation requires failure. Failure threatens identity, so he avoids arenas where he might look inexperienced, even if that's where growth lives. He stays where he feels competent, stable job, predictable salary, familiar routines, because competence feels safe, but wealth is built where competence is uncertain. Smart minds crave certainty, data, proof, validation. But markets move without permission. Opportunities don't wait for certainty. He doesn't launch the business, it's not ready. He doesn't invest, he's still researching. Perfection becomes a socially acceptable excuse for inaction. There's something else, harder to admit. If he tries and fails, maybe he's not as smart as he thought, so subconsciously, he protects his ego instead of building his wealth. And then it happens. He meets someone less intelligent, less analytical, less cautious, but wealthier. Not because they knew more, because they acted sooner. He watches. The other person doesn't overanalyze. They don't wait for perfect timing. They move, and strangely, they win. Wealth rewards time in the game, not brilliance before the game. Every year spent preparing is a year compounding for someone else. The wealthy beginner doesn't bet everything. They place small bets, they test, they adjust, while the smart observer waits for the flawless plan. Waiting feels safe, but beneath the surface, regret accumulates. He scrolls through stories of others succeeding and tells himself he just needs more preparation. Then something shifts. He invests a small amount. Launches a rough draft, makes a call he would have postponed. It's not perfect, but it's real. Reality responds. Some rejection, some mistakes, unexpected lessons. But feedback arrives faster than theory ever could. Something unexpected happens. He survives imperfection. The world doesn't collapse. His identity doesn't shatter. Instead, it evolves. For years, he believed intelligence meant precision. Now he begins to see something else. Intelligence is not about predicting perfectly. It's about adjusting quickly. Adapting requires admitting you were wrong. And being wrong feels dangerous when your identity depends on being right. The wealthy thinker approaches money like a scientist. Hypothesis, test, adjust. No drama, no identity crisis, just iteration. Markets rise, markets fall. The untrained mind reacts. The adaptive mind observes. He notices something. The real battle was never external. It was internal volatility. Perfection seeks applause. Progress seeks improvement. Small risks compound. Small lessons compound. Small confidence gains compound. And suddenly, motion replaces hesitation. Because the deepest trap isn't overthinking. It isn't perfectionism. It isn't even fear. It's comfort. Comfort in being the smartest person in the room. Comfort in analysis. Comfort in potential. Comfort doesn't look dangerous. It looks responsible. Stable income, predictable routine, controlled risks. But comfort can become a cage with invisible bars. He earns well, better than most, enough to feel successful, but income without leverage has a ceiling. The smarter he is, the more valuable his time becomes. And the more he trades that time for money, hours for dollars, energy for stability. But wealth isn't built by trading time. It's built by owning assets. He understands complex theories, advanced mathematics, abstract systems, but simple asset ownership, delayed gratification, cash flow psychology. No one graded him on that. As income rises, so does lifestyle. Better apartment, better car, better image, but expenses expand quietly, consuming potential freedom. Each achievement reinforces identity. I deserve this. I worked for this. And he did, but consumption feels like progress, even when net worth stands still. Then the numbers speak clearly. Years of work, minimal financial freedom, high intelligence, low leverage, and finally, the truth emerges. Two people earn the same income. One spends and upgrades. The other acquires assets. Years pass, their lifestyles look similar. Their futures do not. Assets work while he sleeps. Salary works only when he does. One requires presence, the other builds independence. He optimized for grades, then for career advancement, then for salary negotiation, but never optimized for ownership. Intelligence was applied, just in the wrong direction. Ownership demands patience. Consumption delivers dopamine. The intelligent brain understands compounding, but emotion prefers reward now. For the first time, he stops asking, "How much do I earn?" and starts asking, "What do I own?" The question changes everything. He no longer sees himself as the smart one. He sees himself as a builder. Builders think long-term. Builders endure volatility. Builders measure progress in decades. But even now, one barrier remains. Not intelligence, not comfort, not income, a deeper fear. the fear of becoming someone different. Wealth is not just a financial upgrade. It is a psychological transformation. To build differently, he must think differently, act differently, choose differently. He no longer seeks to be the smartest person in the room. He seeks to be the most adaptable. Validation fades. Vision replaces it. He stretches his timeline. 5 years becomes 10. 10 becomes 20. Short-term noise loses power when the horizon expands. Markets fluctuate. Opinions shift. Headlines scream. He does not react. He responds. The difference is subtle. The outcome is massive. He automates investments, schedules reviews, builds rules before emotions interfere. Because willpower fades, systems endure. Being smart once meant knowing the answers. Now it means asking better questions. How do I avoid risk? How do I manage it? How do I look successful? How do I become free? He understands now, smart people don't stay broke because they lack intelligence. They stay broke because intelligence alone is incomplete. Without action, without ownership, without emotional control, intelligence becomes decoration. So the real question isn't whether you're smart. It's this: are you willing to think differently, even if it means becoming someone new?